Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Juice Podcast on the Betting Pros Network. I'm your host, Sean Stacking the Money Green. Give me a follow on Twitter at Sean T. Green. And as always, Daily Juice being brought to you by BetMGM. Use the promo code JUICE. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 on your first deposit. All right. Hey, looking at the picks, went 2-3 on the NFL Saturday. Very disappointing. Psych. Just kidding. One of the wins, of course, was our boy, Chigoziem Okonkwo. Anytime touchdown, hit that. Man, did that feel good. Now, apologies. I was hyping up, and hopefully you guys now, normally I give my first touchdown plays in the Discord. Make a long story short, I promised my wife we would do something fun. So there's this brewery we like to go up into the mountains. And I was like, oh, we'll go there. In the back of my head, I'm like, they'll have the game on. This will be fun. Have some IPAs, whatever. I scheduled the timing out right, get in the truck. And then I'm like, okay, we'll get there, half an hour early. Plenty of time to fire off the first touchdown bets in the Discord. I know I'm going to put in Chig. And, I'm just waiting on figuring out the rest of them. Of course, we hit insane traffic. And so I didn't get the stuff in the Discord. I apologize. Feel bad. Hopefully you guys, I don't want to be the guy that personally I was on this and blah, blah, blah. But hopefully you guys know I was on Chig. Hopefully you guys got down on Chig. I also was alluding to getting down on him on 2 touchdowns. Also bet that didn't hit. That was 60-1. But we hit the big one, the main one for got it on the podcast at 7-1. Discord folks earlier in the week got it at 9-1. So that was a fun hit. And man, he almost got that second touchdown. Also, shout out to my wife because we were still driving because there was like an insane accident. I'm just laughing because she literally said, I was fist pumping so hard when the Chig touchdown hit. She said, please put your hands on the wheel. I was driving completely safe, I assure you. All right, man, just fun. I mean, it's just fun. Like, there is just such obviously, at the end of the day, quite frankly, I care if my bets hit. But when I give out something, honestly, it's not even like an ego thing of like, I'm right. Yeah, it's awesome to see my timeline, the Twitter, the Discord, the DMs of other people who are like, oh man, that's so fun. Like it's really a sweet feeling to hit these. And a lot of it have been Titans related touchdown bets and some tight end stuff. So it's just fun to like see all the messages of people coming in saying, thanks, that was fun. Because at the end of the day, if it's not fun, don't do it. So, I don't know. I'm meandering here. But, all right, getting to the losers. Get those guys out of the way. Raiders plus 9.5. It is annoying where I pontificate here. I list something off. And then I don't kind of take my own advice, especially with like Jarrett Stidham. Talk all the time about the backup quarterback having that one kind of good game. And I was even pointing out how he was drunk with confidence and he didn't experience a hangover. But I didn't see that like coming at me. That's on me. But I guess to my credit, Raiders plus 9.5. Man, they had some legit opportunities in the end zone. 4th and goal, that Davante Adams, where it just went right through his hands. So there were certainly opportunities to be had there for the Raiders. So don't feel completely boned by that. The Stidham over 235.5. Again, like Davante Adams catches that first pass. He hits that. He got to 219. The game script I thought would be okay. Chiefs probably ran it more than I thought. It was a really weird game for like DFS, and if you're getting in on like any sort of that fantasy stuff or anytime touchdown stuff, I mean, like Ronald Jones was scoring. Kind of a weird game in that sense. Parlay didn't hit, but again, if I'm not going to hit a parlay, I don't want to hit any of the legs. That's what happened because Titans money line was in there, and man, I don't know what to make of that game. Like as a Jags fan, obviously you're super excited. You get into the playoffs, but are you really thrilled about that performance? And Josh Dobbs, oh man, you kind of feel for Dobbs. He had a good game, kind of kept the minute. There were some really nice balls he had there. Even that throw to Chig for that touchdown, that was a really good ball. He's just, again, he's a guy that was like literally on his couch a couple of weeks ago. So, turning the ball over, just not seeing some of the blitz pickups. Obviously, very close to that being like an incomplete pass versus a fumble. Obviously, it definitely read as a fumble. I think they made the right call. But, there was a chance he gets that, game-winning touchdown drive. So I didn't think the Jags looked incredibly good. I mean, kind of fortunate to get the victory in my mind. Them against the Chargers, that's how it's looking. That'll be an interesting playoff game. We'll see how things go. But again, shout out to Dougie P. Nice turnaround. I mean, from where that franchise was to where they are now, can't be too upset. All right. Now, messing around, let's get to the picks. I got 3 picks and, of course, some DGen activity for those who participate in the dark arts. All right, first up, Rams at Seattle. I'm taking the Rams +6 right now over at BetMGM for 2 units. Maybe you can fish around, get a 6.5 if you can. I mean, I'm thinking Bobby Wagner may cover the spread on his own. Like, he really, really hates the Seahawks. If you remember that game they had in Los Angeles, he was all over the place. He was insane. Tyler Lockett's still not healthy for the Seahawks. That really seems to impact their defense. Cam Akers, I mean, this guy is like literally running around as if he's trying to keep a job. Like he went from being untradeable to all of a sudden now teams are like, hey, maybe we should give up some assets to pick up Cam Akers. Seahawks really struggle against the tight ends as well. If you look at like most fantasy points allowed to a tight end, which is interesting just in general for, player props, that kind of stuff. Seattle, number 1 on the list. And Tyler Higbee seems to have a little bit of mojo going with our boy Baker Mayfield. And yeah, I'd like to look at of trends in the NFL. I think division stuff to me matters the most, more than any, because they see them twice a year. They kind of know what they're both going to do. So if there's an edge to be had, it does seem in like the division trend. So Rams 7-1 ATS against Seattle. I don't even mind this on the money line. I'm going to play it a little safer here for 2 units and just take the Rams. But I think the Rams hang around. And again, when one team really needs it and the other team doesn't, and it's a divisional game, it's hard not to like the dog. I mean, this to me kind of reminds me of the Colts at the Jags last year. Of course, Jags were a home dog there when Carson Wentz completely destroyed their season. I was on the Jags +700 on the money line. Remember that beautiful feeling. But, I like the Rams here +6. Next up. Now, this game could get interesting depending on how things shake out in the earlier games. Lions, it is kind of correlated to the Seattle game because if Seattle wins, the Lions are eliminated. Lions at Packers. I'm taking the Packers -4.5. Now, if you like the Packers, I think you bet it now because if Seattle wins, there's a chance this line goes up a little bit. And Packers -4.5 for 2 units, bet MGM. My take on this, though, is I kind of like the Packers better in this weird world if Seattle wins to some degree, just because I think a Lions team with nothing to lose is kind of a little bit more dangerous. Regardless, though, I think locking Packers -4.5 now, that feels good to me because I like this Packers team. I like fading Jared Goff. Jared Goff 0-4 in freezing temperatures. I imagine it's going to get below 32 Sunday night there in Green Bay. Christian Watson is back for the Packers. That is a huge part of their offense. And I don't know if it's just getting the chemistry right with the receivers or Aaron Rodgers and his thumb, but the offense really seems to be clicking. Lions have the 32nd rated road defense as far as points per game. So that's a tough spot. And just Lions outdoor, cold weather. I'm not there yet with them. They've had a really good season. And I think this is just a spot for the Packers to dominate them. I really do. So give me the Packers -4.5 for 2 units. Last straight up side here, Browns at Steelers. I'm going Steelers -2.5 for 2 units over on BetMGM. You know, a lot of sharp people, a lot of people that have really good numbers out there in the industry are making a solid case for the Browns. And if you talk to me about putting Browns in a teaser leg, I can't really deny it. I'm a more gut handicap guy, and I'm leaning hardcore Steelers. One, everyone in the locker room knows Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season in the NFL, so I think that matters to these guys, regardless of the potential playoff outcomes. Also, shout out to Tomlin. We're cashing the over 7.5. Again, this team is a different team with TJ Watt. They are 7-2 now with TJ Watt. I think Kenny Pickett has a little dog in him. And the people that look at the numbers, more in depth than I do, will say like, hey, the way the Steelers have been winning, it's not sustainable. It's just not going to work. I guess I would kind of counter with like, what have we seen out of this Browns team? I mean, the Browns, Deshaun Watson, 9 completed passes against the Commanders. 3 of those ended up being for touchdowns. That doesn't feel sustainable to me. I mean, you don't get to play Carson Wentz every day of the week. Now you have a back-to-back road spot for the Browns as well. And the Browns are coming off really dysfunctional. I mean, Kevin Stefanski is now on the hot seat. Jadeveon Clowney just announced he's quitting the team. He's like, hey, I'm not going to be back. So they benched him. That's great for Najee Harris, who's running super hard. Like, Najee Harris is finally looking like that first-round pick that we thought he was. So, again, a lot of sharp people good with the numbers, are on the Browns, but I'm a gut guy. I'm going Steelers -2.5. They're too fun to root for right now for 2 units. Last but not least, a little D-Gen action. 1 unit on each one of these plays. And we're bringing back Reggie Gilliam, anytime touchdown. Now, we had this as a prop bet in the Monday night game, and of course, he did catch a 7-yard pass in the red zone before, obviously, play was halted. That game got completely voided. I couldn't even look up his snap share. Like, they just essentially deleted the box scores. I can't find it anywhere. Either way, I know he was out there on the field a decent amount. So, I'm taking Reggie Gilliam, again, running it back, anytime touchdown, 26-1 on FanDuel for a tight end that's involved. That, again, we just saw like their game plan. He was in there. It's not like this guy is on the practice squad. 26-1 for a touchdown, and first touchdown, he's 100-1. So I'm taking 1 unit sprinkle on each of those. They didn't adjust the prices at all for the difference in the Bengals and the Patriots. They just said like, hey, here's the price. We'll recycle that price. The problem is the Patriots give up way more touchdowns to the tight end than even the Bengals. Lions lead the league in 11 touchdowns allowed to the tight end. Patriots have second in the league. 3 teams have tied for second, and the Patriots are one of them. 10 touchdowns allowed this season. It's going to be 11. One of them is going to be Reggie Gilliam at 26-1. Come on. And if you like it there, you got to like the first touchdown as well at 100-1. 1 unit sprinkle on each. That might break the unit police if that hits. Steelers -2.5 for 2 units. Packers -4.5. And give me the Rams +6 for 2 units. Get all those over at BetMGM. Use that promo code JUICE. Get a $1,000 risk-free bet on your first deposit. Follow us on TikTok at Betting Pros. Follow me on Twitter at Sean T. Green. Check out my other podcast, the Sports Gambling Podcast. You know what to do. Subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, don't forget to let it ride.